Porco Rosso doesn't try to be interesting. He doesn't have to. He sits in his red seaplane, cigarette in his mouth, half amused at the world's chaos. And suddenly you realize you're watching someone magnetic. Someone who carries calmness like armor and competence like a birthright. This is Marco Pigou, better known as Porco Rosso, the pig who flies above the Adriatic Sea in Miyazaki's 1992 masterpiece. And for anyone who has ever studied typology, or simply been fascinated by the way personalities carve our destinies, Porco is an almost perfect representation of the ISTP archetype. This essay isn't about proving whether Porco is or is not an ISTP in the strict sense. Personality types are not mathematical equations. Rather, it's about using the lens of the ISTP to understand why Porco feels so irresistible, so cool, and so untouchable as a character. He is the embodiment of calm under pressure, the refusal to be controlled, the quiet magnetism of someone who doesn't chase attention. But somehow, attention always finds him. To understand Porco, we must first understand the heart of the ISTP. These are the virtuosos, the mechanics, the quiet doers who let action speak louder than words. Their gift is presence without noise, mastery without arrogance. Porco exemplifies this from the start. He is never frantic, never rattled. Sky pirates terrorize cruise ships full of children. Bullets fly across the Adriatic, governments collapse around him. And Porco simply lights another cigarette, adjusts his goggles, and flies straight through it all. It is this very composure that makes him mesmerizing. The ISTP thrives on competence, on a kind of instinctive mastery over the physical world. Porco doesn't just fly planes. He is the plane. The way he moves through the sky is so fluid, so effortless, it feels like watching someone in complete harmony with their craft. And that's the ISTP secret. Their coolness is born not from trying to look cool, but from being so good at what they do that the world can't help but notice. Porco's allure is not limited to the cockpit. Women adore him. Gina, the sultry cabaret singer who still carries a torch for him. Theo, the bright young engineer who sees past his pig-like exterior. And even random admirers who catch glimpses of his quiet charisma. But what makes this fascinating is that Porco doesn't chase them. He doesn't perform. He doesn't try to seduce. He barely even acknowledges it. And yet that aloofness, that nonchalance becomes magnetic. This is the quintessential ISTP effect. Charm without effort. Unlike the extroverted seducer who turns on charisma like a spotlight, the ISTP simply exists in their competence and solitude. And paradoxically, that makes people want them more. Porco Rosso embodies this paradox perfectly. He isn't looking for love or admiration. He is simply trying to take a vacation, to fly, to be left alone. And in doing so, he attracts more affection than those who try their hardest. If there is one word that defines Porco, and the ISTP archetype in general, it is freedom. Porco refuses to belong to any system. He is a deserter of fascism, a man who turned his back on politics and nations, and even, through the strange curse that made him a pig, his own humanity. He doesn't belong anywhere, and he doesn't want to. This rejection of systems, structures, and obligations is core to the ISTP spirit. They thrive when they are untethered, when they can follow their instincts without bureaucracy breathing down their neck. Porco's very lifestyle, living in isolation on a deserted island, flying solo missions, refusing allegiance to anyone, is the ultimate expression of this. And yet, this freedom comes at a cost: loneliness. But here's the twist. Porco doesn't frame it as tragedy. He frames it as choice. He would rather be alone in the sky than chained to a flag or a system he despises. That is the ISTP code. Liberty is worth solitude. Now, what about Porco's infamous curse? His transformation into a pig. Many interpret this as a metaphor for politics, for the ugliness of war and the rejection of fascism. And that's true. But through the ISTP lens, it becomes even more symbolic. The pig face is his armor. It is the external manifestation of his refusal to play by the rules of society. He would rather be an outsider, even ridiculed, than conform. And in a strange way, that pig face makes him even cooler. It shows that his power, his magnetism, doesn't come from conventional beauty or status or even humanity. It comes from the way he lives. For the ISTP, identity is not about appearances or words. It is about actions. And Porco's actions, flying, fighting, refusing, define him more than any human face ever could. Porco Rosso is not a traditional hero. He doesn't want to save the world. He doesn't crave recognition. He actively resists the very idea of being seen as heroic. And yet, that refusal is what makes him so iconic. He is the anti-hero ISTP, detached, self-sufficient, uninterested in glory. His only mission is to live on his own terms. But paradoxically, it is precisely this refusal that makes him admirable. People admire not only what he does, but the fact that he doesn't care about admiration. The ISTP anti-hero is someone who accidentally becomes a legend simply by being themselves. And Porco Rosso, the pig who rejected humanity but mastered the skies, is perhaps the purest distillation of that figure. At the heart of Porco Rosso lies a paradox. He is utterly solitary, yet utterly adored. He resists connection, yet connection keeps finding him. He hides behind sarcasm, yet inspires devotion. This paradox is not unique to him. It is the hallmark of the ISTP personality. The very traits that make them aloof, independence, self-sufficiency, calm, also make them magnetic. People are drawn to those who do not need them. Porco's life is proof of this. His solitude makes him more mysterious. His silence makes him more eloquent. His refusal to belong makes him belong in the hearts of those who watch him. Porco's ISTP identity is not confined to analysis. It is lived, scene by scene. When he shrugs off danger with a smirk, that's ISTP coolness. When he flies with the precision of instinct, that's ISTP mastery. When he declares he wants nothing more than to take a vacation, that's ISTP detachment. When women swoon over him despite his pig face, that's ISTP magnetism. When he refuses to pledge loyalty to any flag, that's ISTP freedom. Every frame of the film whispers the same message. Porco is not trying to be anything. And in that lack of trying, he becomes unforgettable. In the end, Porco Rosso is more than a pig, more than a pilot, more than an outcast. He is the cinematic embodiment of what it means to be ISTP. Calm in crisis, competent beyond measure, free above all else, solitary yet magnetic. He is proof that you don't need to chase admiration to receive it. Proof that independence can be seductive. Proof that solitude, when chosen, is not weakness, but strength. Porco Rosso is not a hero. He is not a lover. He is not even, in some sense, a man. He is a symbol of the freedom to fly above it all, even if it means flying alone. And that is why, decades later, audiences still look up at the Adriatic sky and see in that red plane not just a pig, not just a pilot, but the perfect portrait of the ISTP spirit. Because in the end, Porco Rosso is not just flying through clouds. He is flying through the paradox of human freedom. Solitary, unbothered, but irresistibly cool.